In light of Saturday's heavyweight clash from Wembley, the September 21st IBF title between Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua brought about a lot of answers to the two that people weren't prepared for. So coaches accepting fame must prepare to receive blame. Let's talk about it. In boxing, a fighter's success can be attributed to coaching, training, and also the cultivation of the talent. But it's the fighter who has to execute. And in Saturday, September 21st matchup between Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, you saw the old guard in Joshua attempting to become a heavyweight champion for the third time in his career. At 34, Joshua, who could have seen better days, was taking on someone that he was experienced with in the younger Daniel Dubois. At 27, and having won the IBF title through an eliminator bout with his previous opponent, Filip Hrgovic, Dubois presented a picture that AJ had not necessarily faced professionally. A young, strong heavyweight who had something to prove. But we had been told that his trainer, Ben Davison, had set AJ on a new path. With the successes that he had over his last 3 fights, we were led to believe that he was doing some things a bit different, and it could be attributed to what Ben Davison has done with him, with his work in the gym and behind the scenes. I don't necessarily agree with that, because Joshua has spent a great deal of time in the US working with a noted trainer in Derek James. And what James was able to do with Joshua was remind him of refined technique as a big punching boxer. Keeping your hands up, keeping your chin tucked, moving with your feet, and also exercising the ability to use your athleticism along with your strength and power. Now, if you look at James's fighters that he's trained, Jermell Charlo, even Errol Spence Jr., you could see that those fighters had always been defensively responsible. And when they exchanged punches, they could counter from being within range of their opponents, and they utilized combinations and angles. Something that when Joshua in his first fight under James against Jermaine Franklin was trying to sort out. And though he was successful against Franklin, it was not a spectacular victory. It was more of a workman-like effort where you could see that he was trying to implement what James had shown him. And that was beneficial. But when he got away from James and he went back to the UK, this Ben Davison experience has been something a bit different. And if you were to ask me, I believe that the where Joshua has gotten off track is in the UK, people revere Joshua. They worship him because of his success and the charisma that he has had in his homeland. He feels very comfortable within that. So there is a bit of complacency there. There's a bit of, well, I'm the man. And Ben Davison does not fool me. He plays right into that. And we saw things come to light when the experience of Davison working with Joshua took place against his fight with Daniel Dubois. In between rounds 4 and 5, he was told some things by Davison that only the words can speak for themselves here.
Going off with your face, yeah? So stay switched on to that. When he's bouncing, be confident in bringing your feet. Otherwise you've got to land, in the space to right out behind you, yeah? Come on there, land it nice. Next time get the opportunity, bring it up. Yeah? When you're stepping, there was a spell there you was getting hit, because you're stepping around the ring, not being threatening. You're just going around the ring. You'll rush in if you do that.
Davison and crew in the corner were basically sending Joshua out recklessly. When he told him that he's galloping around the ring and don't do that because he's just gonna come after you. What he didn't tell Joshua was, you're moving around the ring with your hands low. Keep your hands up. And whatever he's doing, keep your hands in a position not only to protect yourself, but to fire off of what he's doing. Instead, he's feeding him lines of rhetoric that, you got a warrior spirit. Be confident and bring your feet in to double behind him and things of that nature. He's not reminding him to keep his hands in a position to protect and to be offensive. One of the reasons is because they haven't worked on these things. But Davison is supposed to be a guru, right? So AJ had already been in trouble, had already been failed 3 times. And the referee was assisting. All he needed to do was to remind him to work off of your jab, and when you move around, keep your hands in a defensive position and posture to protect yourself. He's gonna come with clubbing shots. Then he tells him to roll the dice and to double things up, to come in and bring it from underneath. That was that uppercut he was telling him to throw. And of course, when he landed the right hand that stunned Dubois, and Dubois took a couple of steps back, AJ began to rush in, but he was wide open rushing in. And Dubois, who will punch you back, caught him with a right hand once, and AJ still came in, not mindful of defense, and came in a second time and went to throw that uppercut, and Dubois caught him with that overhand right, and that was the end of the fight. You see, when you want to talk about coaches being on top of their game, one of the main things a coach is supposed to be able to do is have their fighters be protective of self first. Anyone, as I've often said, even when I worked with guys in the gym, can ball their fists up and punch another person. But not everyone is thinking through the process of being protective of self and to lure the person to do something that they may not necessarily want to do but you need them to do so you can be successful in your endeavors. Again, it's a mental thing. It's not physical. And the people in the UK have admired AJ for being a physical specimen. He looks the part of the heavyweight champion of the world. But if you haven't filled this vessel with the necessary knowledge, then it's an empty shell. And I've been saying this for the longest of times. It was not going to be a quick fix working with Derek James, but he could have been on a path to and toward a better opportunity of success had he stuck with that. Yes, it's good to be with your own countrymen. Yes, it's good to be at home. But I'm going to tell you, in a sport like boxing, being uncomfortable, dealing with the difficulties, that is what is the difference between success and failure. To face difficulties head on is what helps shape a fighter. You need to practice the mental separation from what's comfortable around you and embrace the difficulties and hardships, because warriors go through something that the common man and woman in everyday life doesn't deal with. And see, a good trainer can convey that to a fighter and take him to a place where he emerges as something different when he has to compete at the top level of his work, which is boxing. So for Anthony Joshua, what he found from Ben Davison is that they're both in a similar place. They both haven't grown enough in the sport to get to where they wanted to be, and they thought that there would be a shortcut, but there is not. The ring is where the truth is told at all times, and this is not a critique of them as to put them down, but hopefully that can turn the light switch on to their approach. I know Davison has had success and he's been granted respect out of that, but he, in the most severe test of what he faces in this profession, failed miserably. And his advisement just before the round where AJ was knocked out helped lead to those circumstances. This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Leave comments and let me know what you think about the fight and what was revealed. Peace to everyone, and everyone remain safe.